Now this noise, these footsteps, were unlike any other Johnny had heard. Walking along the path were two strong legs. At this sound, the raven screamed and flew away. When Johnny looked, the lizard was long gone. In fact, there was a calm, still quietness in the garden as the man walked. Johnny had heard about the gardener. He was spoken of with respect, and it was said that he was wiser than all the beasts in the garden and all the birds of the air and everything that moved on the earth. Johnny was very much waiting to see this man. In what seemed like a long time, he saw the man coming up along the path, along the way. Not only did he see the man, but the man walked up, right up to Johnny. Now Johnny couldn't say anything to the man, but the man sat down and looked at Johnny. In fact, the man stooped down and uncovered a small plaque that he had made, that it had been covered up. It said Johnny the Oak. And the man said, "You know, Johnny, I planted you here in this spot, and I planted Ray over there in that spot." And Johnny was struck to the core with this. He didn't just happen to be here in this spot like he was. He was planted. He was planted on purpose by this man, the gardener. The man who kept and took care of the garden. And he said, "Yes, I planted you here. And I planted the rose bushes over there on purpose, by design. I made it that way." And while Johnny wondered why such a wise man would plant him the way that he was there, the man continued. And he said, "Yes, you see, oaks and roses are very different. You see, roses grow up and out quickly. They fill out faster. They make very pretty flowers that the bees enjoy. That's what rose bushes do. They're beautiful." He said, "But you, Johnny, you're an oak. Oaks, no matter what, never make roses." And Johnny was struck by the truth of this statement. The man continued. He said, "Yes, roses and oaks are different, and they are both beautiful in their time." The man continued, "You see, right now, your limbs that don't seem to be doing much are helping grow roots deep down that can't be seen, but they're making you strong. One day, you'll be the strongest plant in the garden." Johnny was struck by this because he hadn't been surrounded by mature, strong oak trees. He hadn't considered it, and the lizard never bothered to mention it to him. The man said, "In time, you will be beautiful in your own way, a handsome, strong oak tree that bears its own kind of fruit, not a rose, but an acorn. And you provide and protect for the rest of the plants in the garden. See, I planted you over here and the rose bushes over there so that when the storms come and the winds blow, your strength, your roots, they'll protect those around you. They'll shield them from the storms to come. And not only that, but one day, and it takes longer than a rose bush, but one day you'll make acorns, a massed crop, a staple for the whole garden. Squirrel and deer and many other things will enjoy what you can provide for them. And a rose bush can never make an acorn. Some things in life cannot be changed, whether you like it or not. You were designed to be an oak tree, and you will never, no matter how much you look like it or change yourself, you will never ever be a rose bush. Some things in life are that way. And I knew you were an oak. And I planted you here, in this time, in this place, for a purpose. You are not an accident. The fact that you were an oak is not an accident. That's your role. That's why you were designed and planted here, to provide and protect for those around you. And although it may not seem like you're doing much now, you are growing stronger. Johnny was filled with amazement at the beautiful truth that the gardener spoke. He continued. He said, "You know, Johnny, patience, endurance, and strength, those are good qualities. And they're especially fitting for an oak tree. And although those roses are blossoming now and getting attention, and they're very pretty, you're not a rose bush, and you're never going to be a rose bush. You're an oak. If you will be strong and endure, in time, you will be what that rose bush can never be, strong, providing and protecting for those in the forest. If you want to fulfill what you were put here for, you must be those things, what you were put here to be, strong, with patience and endurance. Although it may be hard at the moment, it may not feel good. Both you and the rose bush were designed to be beautiful in your time. In the spring, the rose bush will bloom and be beautiful and pretty. And in the fall, you will be a shelter in the storms. You will provide for those in the garden. Being strong, providing and protecting, even sheltering your friend Ray, and sustaining the squirrels. You have your own beautiful purpose. If you can endure and be strong, one day you will look back and this will be but a short amount of time and a short season in your life as a strong, abundant life as an oak tree. The man stood there in silence, looking around the garden for what seemed like a long time. And although this is not exactly what Johnny wanted to hear, he knew that it was true. And he knew that it was better. And the gardener was wise. And he believed and trusted that gardener. And Johnny felt a joy and a peace that he hadn't felt before. And the man, while stepping off, said, "Now, I have a lizard to deal with."